Hi, my name's Don Heatrick and I'm a former pro Muay Thai fighter, multiple-time amateur champion and a European silver medalist turned strength and conditioning coach in the UK. I've been involved in Muay Thai for 25 years, coached fighters of all levels, and have worked with some of the world's top Muay Thai fighters like Liam Harrison, Singdam and Manichai. After speaking with Lawrence, we think there's several important messages that the striking community needs to hear. There are a lot of myths and misconceptions about strength and conditioning for combat sports going around in the industry. So today I'm here to talk about the 4 biggest myths in strength training for striking arts. There's a lot of information on how to do strength training, but there's a huge lack of information on how to use this strength training to specifically improve striking. And it's not the same as strength training for other sports, and it's not quite as straightforward as many believe. A lot of people are losing out more than they realise, and they aren't getting the results as quickly or as efficiently as they should compared to the huge amounts of time and effort that they're putting in. So I'm going to debunk these myths and explain how to optimise your strength training to maximise improvements in your striking. Now, let's get to the myths. And the first myth that's plaguing the industry is that strength training makes you slower. Some fighters and martial artists still believe that strength training will make them slower, so they avoid it completely or don't do as much of it as they should. The truth is, strength training will not make you slower, as long as you don't stop training power and speed. There are 2 guidelines you should follow to ensure that you maintain or even increase your power and speed while developing max strength through strength training. 1. Incorporate power and speed training to balance your strength training. Strength training increases your ability to generate maximum force, but at a much slower rate than the speed of striking. So to compensate, you should also train speed and power in combination with your strength training. This will ensure that you maintain or even improve your current levels of power and speed, even while increasing strength. But they must be done before or separately from your strength training sessions while you're not fatigued, in order to have the proper training effect. If you do heavy squats, bench presses and deadlifts and then train speed and power, you'll not get ideal adaptations from speed and power training, because you're already fatigued from the strength work. 2. Don't stop training your striking art. Don't make the mistake of forgetting about your technical striking sessions once you start strength training. As long as you maintain your striking volume and ensure you're training speed and power in shadowboxing, pad work and on the heavy bag, you will maintain or even increase your power and speed, and counterbalance the slower rate of force production in your strength training sessions. But if you start doing more strength training than striking, you will become slower. Your body and nervous system will adapt and optimize for a larger volume of slow, heavy lifts in strength training, rather than for the speed and power needed in striking. The second myth is that strength training creates more muscle, and that more muscle means more strength. Some people aren't going to want to hear this, but those bicep curls that some people love so much do more to satisfy their egos and actually improve their ability to fight. Bodybuilding and strength training have different goals. It's a matter of form versus function. The primary goal of bodybuilding is hypertrophy, to make the muscles grow in physical size, so they look more aesthetically pleasing, rather than to generate maximal force. In bodybuilding, the form of the muscles, how big the muscles are and how sculpted they look, is more important than actually how much force they can produce. On the other hand, strength training is about function. The point is to increase maximal force production through the same movement patterns used in life or sport. If you want to improve your striking, it's important to focus on functional strength training to strengthen the movement patterns used in your striking techniques and footwork movements. This means using compound exercises that chain together multiple muscle groups throughout the entire body, like the squat, bench press, overhead press and deadlifts, rather than bodybuilding splits that aim to isolate individual muscle groups. Myth 3 is that strength training makes you more powerful, but strength and power are different qualities. Strength refers to your ability to generate maximal force, given as long as you need to produce it, while power refers to your ability to generate the highest force in the minimal amount of time. Strength is a foundation of power, but it must be converted into power by training your body to generate force in quick bursts. Exercises like jump squats and kettlebell swings are good at this, and a good fighter's training program systematically progresses the loads used, from heavier, slower velocity to lighter, faster velocity as you move through your fight camp. Because eventually, you'll need to convert this power into the speed of your sport, your striking art. Because in a fight, the effectiveness of your strikes is dependent on your ability to move the mass of your limbs without extra weight attached, except for the protective equipment such as gloves. Myth number 4, the harder you train, the harder you'll fight. This is the most dangerous myth in the world of fighting and martial arts today. The go hard or go home mentality is killing more fighters' progress and careers than most realise or want to admit. The mentality is that the more you push yourself and the more fatigue you endure, the harder of a fighter you become. It's true that resilience and tenacity are developed from overcoming challenges and hardships and pushing yourself under pressure. But from a physical standpoint, if you don't give your body enough time to recover, you'll stunt your progress. Because progress happens in recovery. Training is simply the stimulus needed to trigger it. The greatest fighters in the world know how to train hard, but they also know when to train hard. You must be able to push yourself, but your body has a certain capacity to recover, and once you hit that threshold, the fatigue starts to build up and diminish the quality of your training. Strength and conditioning is not just about going hard and pushing yourself to the max in every session. There's a lot of strategy and planning involved to ensure you're getting the best results out of every session. Yet, there are so many programs focused on going hard and neglect the recovery or athletic qualities needed from a fighter's standpoint. One example is CrossFit. I tend to agree with what Firas Zahabi mentioned when he was on Joe Rogan's podcast. CrossFit is fatigue seeking and not optimal for martial arts training. The goal of CrossFit is to push your limits and go as hard as possible in each individual workout. And while this is great for improving fitness for the general population, this causes too much fatigue for martial artists or anyone training or competing in combat sports. The fatigue from a single CrossFit session takes a huge toll on the other sessions. And the exercises and sequences in CrossFit are not designed to develop the athletic qualities needed to improve striking in a systematic or efficient way. Proper strength and conditioning comes down to understanding that there's a specific purpose to each and every exercise, and each exercise must be done under proper conditions in order to develop the ideal adaptations for your striking art. To put it simply, it's about doing the right things in the right order, at the right time, in the right way, in an order that produces the adaptations that you need the most. If you'd like to learn about what the right order actually is and how to program your sessions properly, you can download my guide, The Optimal 12-Week Fight Camp Blueprint. When you download the blueprint, you'll also get access to my Strength and Conditioning Masterclass, The Science of Building Champions. I have to warn you, it's very in-depth and goes into the scientific principles behind everything outlined in the blueprint. It's for those of you who'd actually like to learn more about the science behind everything you do, but the blueprint is good enough for those who just want to do it. Although I am a Muay Thai specialist, the principles in the blueprint and masterclass apply to all striking arts. So no matter which striking art you train, if you want to optimize your strength and conditioning to get results as quickly and efficiently as possible, click the link in the description to get your copy of that Optimal 12-Week Fight Camp Blueprint. And if you like this video, please give it a like. Leave a comment if you have any questions, and feel free to check out other strength and conditioning videos on my YouTube channel at Heatrick Strength and Conditioning.